Hey everybody, it's Christina. Welcome back to another Stampin' on Friday video. Today we're going to be using this stamp set from Clearly Besotted that I just featured in my Simon Says Stamp haul. It's called Best Birthday, and I'm going to be using the cute little piggy to make my sister's birthday card, along with the wishing you the best birthday ever. So we're going to go ahead and start with our stamping. I have my two pieces of white cardstock. One of them I'm setting aside to use for some die cutting, but this one is just some Nina Solar white cardstock in the 80 pound. I'm going to use some of my Copic markers, but I'm not going to do any fancy coloring, so I wasn't going to use any of my Copic Express It paper, so I just decided to go with regular paper. And I'm going to ink my little piggy up here with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and we're going to stamp this out twice. Okay, so I have that all stamped out, and now I'm just going to use two Copic markers, no fancy coloring here whatsoever. I'm going to start with my darkest, which is the R12, and then color in with the lightest. And I am just going to start by just doing a little bit of where I want my darkest color to be, so a little bit on his little cute little piggy ears, and then a little bit coming down from the top of his head, and then all around. And I'm skipping over his feet because I want to leave those white. And then curl in his little piggy tail. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if I'm going out of the lines. I am going to be doing some fussy cutting with this in a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and blend out the darker color into the white areas using the R11. Like I said, no fancy coloring here today. Just some really quick down and dirty coloring. I'm going to go back in with my R12 just to kind of darken up my piggy's little nose. And then my final touch is just to give him a couple white freckles. And then I'm just going to go ahead and color this one in and then fussy cut that with my scissors. There is dies that match this, but I did not pick those up. I just picked up the stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up coloring my little pig here. Okay, so I added a little bit of my Memento Tuxedo Black marker around the outside so that it looked like I was a genius at cutting, which I am not. I stink at it, but I like doing it too. And I just see this one little area right here on the pig's mouth that I seem to kind of skipped a little bit when stamping. So we're going to set these guys aside to dry, and I'm going to do one more little bit of stamping, which is going to be my sentiment. And I have that onto my black, and I'm just going to take this yellow paper. My pattern paper comes from the Lawn Fawn's Pink Lemonade stamp set, which is an absolutely adorable stamp set that I've had for the longest time. And every once in a while I like to pull that one out and play with some of it because I just love the summer-like colors. So I'm just going to take my sentiment and stamp it down at the bottom of this. And now, what I'm going to do next is do a little bit of die cutting because I have all of the things that I want to die cut. So first I'm going to die cut using some of my Mama Elephant dies. This is from the Basics stamp set, and I have this piece of pattern paper that I'm going to cut out using the scallop piece, or the scallop die from this. I have my white Nina cardstock, which I'm going to use the stitched die on, and then I have this stitched tag that I'm going to be using with this orange colored paper. And then my sentiment is on this, wishing you the best birthday ever, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to die cut that one. But the other ones, I'm just going to go ahead and run these through my Big Shot machine. So I decided to go ahead and just die cut this yellow pattern paper with the stitched tag as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but I have it die cut and ready to go. And then this die actually comes from this bundle of stitched shapes, and it's just a straight edge. It has a cut piece and a stitched piece, which is great because then you can use it to line up and make your own little stitched edges going along borders. Now let me just go ahead and grab my Post-it tape so I can hold this in place because it seems like it's kind of resisting the magnet there. So I just want to make sure it doesn't slide when I'm cutting. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this down, and I'll die cut this. And now I have a nice little stitched edge going across here, and I'm going to take the stitched piece and lay this down one more time going across the top, so then I create a nice little stitched border on my sentiment. And that kind of brings in all the other stitched pieces that I die cut. So what I'm doing now is just making some strings for my balloons, and I'm just using my Lawn Fawn hemp cord. This is the tangerine, and I'm going to use these onto my little piggies. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my piggies wherever I set those little guys. Where did they go? They're around here somewhere. There they are. And I am going to use my multi-matte medium, and I am going to stick down these little strings to use as my balloon strings, and I'll get those drying before I start putting my card together. So I'm just going to set those on there, and if I need to probably hold them down, I'm just going to go ahead and set a block right on top of it just to hold it in place. I'm going to do the same thing on this little guy. So my little strings here are pretty much dry. I just went ahead with my scissors and cut off one of the sides of the tail, and this will be the piece that actually holds my balloon. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together. So I have my stitched piece that I used with the Mama Elephant die, and then I have my 2 tags, which I think I am going to use both of them. I didn't die cut the hole. You can die cut a hole, but I just skipped that part because I think this is going to end up getting covered when I put my pigs down there. So I am going to adhere those 2 down. I'm just going to grab my tape runner here. Before I put my sentiment down, I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals to the back of this, and I'm just going to be using my little 3M foam here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my little pigs down where I want them to be. Looks pretty good to me. And then what I'm going to do is just take some more of my matte medium, and I want these to be a little bit stringy, not perfectly straight, so they look like they're floating. And I'm just going to take my matte medium, if I can get the top off here with one hand, put that down, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my strings right over the top of that, and then put a block on top so that it dries. And then I'll just go ahead and take my sentiment, which I added some foam tape to the back of this, and I'm going to put that right across the front of my card, or my matte piece actually. And then we'll just trim this off. And then this piece will get matted right onto my scallop piece. I added some foam to the back of my layered piece here, and I'm just going to go ahead and mat this onto a standard A2 size card base. This is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then the last thing I think I'm going to do is just go ahead and add some of these Simple Stories. This is I've So Rad enamel dots. I have so many enamel dots, and before I start opening new packages, I want to make sure I start using some of these older ones. And I'm going to mix in some of the orange and the yellow just to bring in that color. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe so you can be updated for new videos. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. The supplies used for today's video are listed down below in the YouTube description and over my blog if you want to check them out. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.